Hello and welcome back to Kim Reads. We start Felicity's Surprise. Chapter 1, An Invitation to the Palace. Felicity ran along the frozen path as if she were running towards Christmas. Then quick, she turned sideways and said, slick as a fish across the stretch of ice. Try sliding, she called to her sister Nan. It's fast. I'm going to do it again. Nan grinned but shook her head. We shouldn't slide, Lizzie. It isn't proper, she said. And anyway, you know we promised Mother we wouldn't play. We said we'd come straight home after we cut enough holly to fill our baskets. Very well, said Felicity cheerfully. She knew Nan was right as usual. Besides, she had already spotted more clear patches of ice ahead. So she ran and slid, while Nan trotted along behind, carefully picking up the holly sprints that fell out of Felicity's basket. Mother! William! Called Felicity as she and Nan burst into the house. Come see the holly we've cut. 'Tis ever so full of berries. Miss Merriman and little William hurried to greet the girls. Look at all that holly, said William. A lot and a lot. Mrs. Merriman smiled. My two Christmas sprites, she said. You have done a fine job. The holly is perfect. Now I can work Christmas magic on the house. But look at you. Your noses are red and cold as holly berries. Go and sit yourselves by the fire, Lizzie. Take your shoes off first. Don't track that muddy slush into the parlor. She scooped up William with one arm and the two holly baskets with the other. Later you can help me decorate. It will be a fine surprise for your father and Ben. Just then they heard polite knocking at the door. Oh, Lizzie, said Mother, my hands are full. Do please answer the door. Yes, Mother, said Felicity. The floor was slippery, and she slid a little as she hurried back to the door. When she opened it, she stepped back in surprise. Goodness, she gasped. There stood an elegant dressed man. He bowed to Mrs. Merriman. Good day, madam, he said. Do I have the honor of addressing the wife of Mr. Edward Merriman? Felicity's mother nodded, and the man held out a letter. This is for you, madam, he said. Mrs. Merriman quickly put William and the holly baskets down to the letter. Thank you, she said as the man left. Good day to you. Felicity, Nan, and William crowded close to Mother as she untied the red ribbon and opened letter. Why, Lizzie, she exclaimed. It's from Lady Gunsmore, the royal governor's wife. It's an invitation for you. Me? Gasped Felicity. Just listen, said Mrs. Merriman. She cleared her throat and read the invitation. Lady Dunmore presents her compliments to Mrs. Merriman and requests a favor of her daughter Felicity's attendance at a dancing lesson at the palace on Saturday, January 7th at 4 o'clock. Ooh, sighed Nan. You're so lucky. Mother handed the invitation to Felicity. She read it, but she could hardly believe the message written in curlicues and family script. She was invited to the royal governor's palace. The palace was the fanciest, most elegant place in Williamsburg. Many times she peeked through the iron gates and the high brick around it, and she was invited to go inside as a guest. Felicity was speechless. The room was quiet. They all jumped when they heard more knocking at the door. Whatever now? Asked Mrs. Merriman. I shouldn't be surprised if it's King George himself. But it was Felicity's friend Elizabeth, waving an invitation just like Felicity's. Oh, you got yours too, she exclaimed. Her blue eyes were bright with excitement. Isn't it wonderful? Both of us invited to the palace. Won't it be grand? A dance lesson isn't like a school lesson. There will be music and lovely food, and everyone will be wearing beautiful clothes. The dance lesson will be most like a ball. A ball? Said Nan, wide-eyed. Elizabeth rattled on. My mother says your teacher, Miss Manderley, arranged for us to be invited. Miss Manderley knows the dancing master teaches the governor's children. She asked him to invite you and me and my sister Annabelle. Are you excited? Yes, said Felicity. Laughed Felicity. I think it must be a dream. The cold will wake you from your dreams, smiled Miss Merriman. Put your shoes back on. Lizzie, go to the store now and show the invitation to your father. You must ask his permission to go to the dancing lesson. Hurry now. Felicity pulled the shoes back on. Can you come to the store with me, Elizabeth? She asked. No, I'd best not, Elizabeth answered. My mother doesn't like me to be out in the cold. She's certain I'll catch a fever. The two girls shared a look that said, Aren't mothers silly, always worrying about fevers and such? Then Elizabeth left for home. Felicity gave no thought to the cold as she stepped out the twilight. There was a happy feeling in the city of Williamsburg that evening. Windows in many of the houses and shops were trimmed inside with the fancy greenery as if they were dressed up for a special occasion. Some wore necklaces of ivy. Others had fans of pine or garlands of holly leaves. Christmastide was Felicity's favorite time of year. It was a season of celebrations, pretty decorations, and many visitors. And this Christmas promised to be the most wonderful ever. This Christmas, Felicity was invited to the palace. Felicity held her invitation safe under her cloak and hurried toward father's door. The store was empty of comforters, though it was not yet closing time. In November, Mr. Merriman had stopped selling tea in his store to show he was against the tax the king had put on tea. Since then, the store was never very busy. People who agreed with the king had stopped shopping there. Felicity stepped into the shadowy store lit by flickering candles. She called out, "Hello, hello." "Hello yourself," answered a cheery voice. It was Ben, Mr. Merriman's apprentice. He was up on a ladder dusting the shelves. He grinned down at Felicity. "This is fine supplies," he said. "Have you come for a whistling lesson?" "Not this time," laughed Felicity. "Where's father?" "In his counting room," said Ben. "What's happened?" "Oh, nothing," said Felicity airily. "Only the most very finest thing in the world." "And what would that be?" laughed Ben. Felicity did not answer him because she saw her father coming. "Father, look!" she cried as she ran towards him, waving the invitation. "Elizabeth and Annabelle and I have been invited to the palace." "To the palace?" Mr. Merriman exclaimed. He opened the invitation and held it near the candlelight. Ben climbed down the ladder and came to look too. "May I go, Father?" Elizabeth says it will be almost like a ball," said Felicity, placing her hand on his arm. "Oh, please say I can go." "Well, her father began. "Lissy!" Ben burst out before Mr. Merriman could finish. "How can you even consider it? How could you possibly go to the governor's palace? How could you smile at the governor and drink his punches if you're one of his best friends? How could you?" "I'm not angry at the governor," Felicity said hotly. "You should be," said Ben. "You know Governor Dunmore represents the king here in Virginia. You know the king and the governor treated us colonists badly." "Well," said Felicity, "I suppose so, but..." Ben didn't listen. "If you go to this dance lesson, you'll be surrounded by loyalists," he said. "You'll be dancing with children of the very same people who have snubbed us and refused to shop at your father's store and ever since we stopped selling tea." Ben shook his head. "Don't you see, Lissy? You can't go. You can't." Felicity felt plunged in gloom. She understood everything Ben was saying, but she still wanted to go to the dance lesson. She looked at her father. "Is it wrong for me to go to the palace, Father?" she asked. Mr. Merriman looked down at Felicity's sad face. "Lissy, my dear," he said, "I think it's wrong when adults' arguments make children unhappy. The invitation is kind. The governor and his lady are parents, just as I am. They want their children to be happy, especially at Christmastide. Christmas is not the time for anger. It is a time for friendliness and good spirit and merriment too." "So you should say she should go, sir?" asked Ben. He sounded surprised. "Indeed, yes, I do think Felicity should go to the governor's palace," answered Mr. Merriman, "and she should dance with the governor's children and their friends. Because if our children can dance together, then perhaps we adults can settle our differences without fighting." Felicity smiled at her father. "Oh, thank you, Father," she said. I did so hope you would say I could go." Mr. Merriman smiled. "Christmas is the time our hopes for peace and happiness should come true." Felicity looked at Ben. She hoped Father had made him think it was right for her to go to the dance lesson. But Ben was frowning. Felicity knew she had disappointed him. "Ben," she began, "it's Christmas." Ben turned sharply and walked away out of the candlelight. And that's the end of that chapter. See you later.